Hey everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about acne, and catchy title, right? Now, I did a video on this about a year or so ago, but I noticed that some of my videos have suddenly mysteriously been deleted. I've now changed my password and the such, but the acne one was one of the ones that had been deleted, which is a real shame because, you know, it had a lot of views and I thought it was very good. So what I'm going to do is talk to you about acne and my experience with it, what happened to me and what worked for me. When I was about 19 or 20, my skin started to break out, and it started to break out in a peculiar way in that the spots never actually came to a head, so they couldn't be extracted, they couldn't be squeezed because they never came out. But across here and obviously on the other side were spots that were inside the skin. They were incredibly red, and probably at the worst point, just doing my sleeves up, at the worst point I would say that probably 80% of this area was completely covered. Some of it came down onto the chin, but not a lot, and almost virtually nothing on my forehead. And at the time it was one of the most upsetting things that had happened to me. It was just all-consuming. I absolutely hated the look of my skin. I would turn off all the lights when I would enter the bathroom so I couldn't see my face. It was a very upsetting time. I spent a lot of my time on acne forums trying to get some insight into what was happening to me and what I could do to get rid of it. At the time, being 1920, I just got a job, so my first line of attack was to go to the cosmetic counters because more money means better products, right? So you'd expect that they would work better. So off I went to Clinique, and that's where the real troubles began. I was prescribed a 3-step program: the soap, the clarifying lotion in strength 3 and 4, the moisturizer, which I never understood because my skin was always oily, so why would I want to be adding more oil to it? It made no sense to me, but they knew best, right? Because they were in the white doctor gowns with their orange faces and white necks. And they also prescribed turnaround cream, which is absolutely hopeless, by the way. Its ability to exfoliate is virtually zero, so more on that on the skincare side of things. And the scrubbing lotion, which contained menthol, and that's really what kicked it off. The 3-step program didn't help at all. I was told to exfoliate with this menthol scrub once a day, and I did. The very first time I did it, my skin was so irritated that the acne looked so much worse. And I took that as a plus, that it was coming to the surface. It never came to the surface. All that happened was my skin was getting more and more irritated. In the end, that product actually snapped the capillaries under my eyes. So not only was I left with incredibly red cheeks with these spots, I was now left with broken veins under my eyes because my skin just didn't like this menthol, this fragrance. So you think that that would have been an indication that money doesn't buy you great skin, but it wasn't. I kept going higher and higher up the bracket thinking that more expense would be better, and I tried facials, I tried microdermabrasion, I tried peels. None of it helped. All of it said it would cure it, none of it helped. So I gave up, and this is what I did. I went to the chemist and I bought Cetaphil cleansing lotion. It's so gentle on the skin, it's not going to irritate it anymore. Because spots have bacteria, I needed to disinfect the skin. So I just went to the chemist and I got, you remember Oxy-10? You get it in strengths 2.5, 5 and 10. I just got 2.5. That was my skin regime, and this is what I did. Washed my face in the morning, and I applied Oxy 10 in strength 2.5 to all the areas that were covered in acne. But I didn't apply the tiny little amount they recommend. I applied a whole strip the size of my finger over this area, okay? Because the bacteria is there, and this kills the bacteria. So I didn't use a little bit, I used a lot of it, and I was going through about 3 of these a week. That's what I did, and this is what happened. I started this regime on the Tuesday night. By Wednesday night, my face had started to get very, very dry, because this stuff dries your skin out, and smiling would sort of make my face feel like it was cracking. And that wasn't good, so I needed a moisturizer. No moisturizers would stop this awful tight feeling that I was getting from using this stuff. So I got a sunscreen because they're so emollient and greasy, and so that solved the problem. On the second and third day, my skin became incredibly red because I'm irritating it. I'm using all this benzoyl peroxide, more than is recommended. By the fourth day, my skin was red and irritated, but the spots were dramatically different. By the Saturday morning when I woke up, I reckon I had an 80% clearance in all my acne. Don't get me wrong, there were still some there, but compared to how it looked, which was horrific, they were so red and so angry looking, they were pretty much all gone. And I continued with this regime for about 4 months after that. I had a complete clearance of acne within 2 weeks of using this, completely gone, no spots. I still had some of the little scars, the ones that had been there, you know, that purpley colour that just take forever to go away. I still had some of those, but I didn't have acne anymore. And after about the 4 month period, I cut down on the amount of product I used to the size of just this area here. And again, as I moved on and my acne calmed down, I could gradually decrease the amount I used. That obviously helped with the fact that my skin was no longer being so dry, it wasn't red anymore. And that's what I did. And years later, I found an acne website, which I've put on there, which prescribes the exact same regime as I used. And this gentleman has got his own products and everything. I'm not associated with him whatsoever, never bought any of his stuff. But the principle is exactly the same, and I got complete clearance. And I get so many emails about acne and what can I do. Well, this is what I did, and that is what I did, and I still do it to this day, but to a much lesser extent. I now use a tiny bit, and I only disinfect my skin once every 3 or 4 days because that's all it needs now. That's what I did, and I got a complete clearance. I'm not saying it's going to be it's not going to work for you, but it doesn't hurt to give it a go. And remember when you're doing it that benzoyl peroxide can create incredibly dry, flaky skin. It's not a pretty sight, and it takes an industrial size strength moisturizer and with a sunscreen to stop that. Plus the fact that you are shedding your skin because you're using so much, you definitely need a sunscreen to protect the skin underneath. So that's what I did, and that's what I'm going to recommend to you. If it doesn't work, fair enough, it doesn't work, but you've given it a shot. Don't use a pissy little amount the size of a nail. I didn't. I used a massive amount, and I covered all the areas that were infected. I didn't just dab it on the spots. I disinfected the entire area. There's no point doing your forehead if you've got no spots there. Disinfect the areas that you have acne. And give me your feedback on this, because on the last one there was a huge amount of positive feedback on people that had done this regime, and it helped them. And it helped me. I cannot express to you at the time how unhappy and miserable I was. I just hated the way my skin looked, and I scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed at it because I just felt so dirty and ashamed that I looked like this, that this had happened to my skin. And I know that it's just soul destroying acne. So definitely just give it a go, see what happens to your skin. Making it clear, when I washed my face, I washed it incredibly carefully. I just put the cleanser in my hands and I really gently worked it over the skin. I didn't scrub anymore. I didn't want to piss my skin off any more than it already was. Spots by definition are red and irritated. The last thing I wanted to do was give it any more reason to be angry with me. And then I applied the benzoyl peroxide, went to bed, same thing in the morning, only this time I applied sunscreen over it. I let it absorb, sunscreen, and within the Tuesday to the Saturday I was almost clear, and within the 2 weeks I was 100% clear, and I've stayed that way ever since. So just let me know what you think, let me know if it helps, or if you've suffered with it, let me know what helped you. This is what helped me, it's helped other people. The information is in the sidebar for the website, so just let me know. Thank you for listening, and see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.